Pisces videos on demand. Again, Pisces, what's up everybody out there? All of my Pisces fishes, sharks, whatever mammal you'd like to refer to yourself as. What's up? You know, I've been observing the abused Pisces. It happens to everybody. And it really comes from this. This is what I see a whole lot of right now, Pisces, is why do I give them this much of me and they only give this much back? Or they don't give anything at all. All right, now there are different things in astrology that can help you with this information. First of all, I'd like to say, and I would like for you guys, if you're watching, to refer to my Uranus and Saturn aspect video. I want you to relate to that video where I explain that aspect, which is powerful because it deals with career and it deals with independence. So a lot of this energy that is coming from Pisces that is saying, you know, I'm being done wrong, I'm being abused emotionally, physically, you name it, spiritually, I'm being abused and I don't like the way it feels, all right? First of all, the first step is being vocal about it. I'm glad that you've done so. I'm glad that you participate in forums that is for that. It's not necessarily the same thing when you post on, you know, your personalized profiles and social networks. It's not the same as when you do it inside of a group where everyone can relate to you and understands what you're going through. So I want you to understand that a lot of this energy is coming from relationships. It's coming from relationships, and some of you are vocal about that part and some of you are not. All right, I can tell that you're going through this relationship thing and you're not understanding that it's really not the time for that. But this goes for a lot of people. This goes for all the signs right now, and it's because of this aspect, this Uranus and Saturn aspect. And of course, yes, you know, Saturn deals with career and you know, reserved and, you know, ambition at the same time, status, right? So you got to look at it like this, right? If your significant other is causing you some type of harm, whether it's physical, spiritually, mentally, you name it, right? If they're causing you this type of harm, what does that do to your status, Pisces? That lowers your status, and you know you are a brilliant, beautiful person inside on out. So why do you keep allowing yourself to be subjected to the downfall of someone's inconsistencies that are supposed to be compatible with you? Why are you doing that? Because that is downing your status. Now, you may want to just relate it to love, which may, you know, pertain to what's going on in your second house, which I'm going to get to right now. Right? As a matter of fact, let's get to that now. Let's look at your second house. Do you have your natal chart? Do you know what your second house is? Do you know what sign is there? Is there any planetary movements there? You know, because then you could deal with Venus and the love and the attraction level. And then where's your Venus? Do you know where Venus is in your natal chart? Also pick up on these things, right? Because it'll help you deal with love better instead of dealing with love as this, you know, this bond that is supposed to be everything to you. Because guess what? It's not. It's not, especially with this aspect that I've talked about in a previous video with Uranus and Capricorn, dealing with independence in career. Independence in career. How can you be strong independently? How can you be striving with status and career when you have a significant other that is dragging you down? It's different when you have a support system that is lifting you up, right? However, you said it yourself. You're saying it yourself in these forums that you're giving this out and they're giving back that. So you must change that initially, first and foremost. All right, now let's get into more depth. Maybe this is not relationship based, and I understand that. Some of you are out there and you're networking. You know, Pisces need people to an extent. All right, don't get caught up and believe that you really need people. All right, everyone does need people though, so let's not get it twisted. I'm just saying, like, Pisces, more than any other sign, you don't need people. So I want to put an emphasis on that. So let's say you guys are out there networking, you're trying to move and shake, and you just feel that feeling that you want to be involved with people, which is understandable, right? And you're struggling because you're giving out this much energy, you're only getting back this much energy, right? Guess what? Capability is the key word here. They are not capable to be compatible with you in those areas, and that's why it's falling back on you, all right? You know, and you may be looking at me like, oh, okay, well, you're talking from an astrologer's perspective. You base things on natal charts, planetary movements, and aspects. Right. This is what I'm telling you. Right. Be knowledgeable on these things. I don't want to keep all of this knowledge to myself. I want to give it to you. That's why I'm doing these videos, okay? You know, so what I would advise you to do if you're experiencing this type of turbulence with networks, friends, relationships, apart from being intimate, right? I want you to look at your 12th house. The 12th house deals with undoing, self-undoing, all right? It also deals with hospitals, prisons, mental asylums, spiritual essence, and lo and behold, your hidden treasure is in the 12th house, all right? So the reason why I want you to look here is because it's healing time. When you go to a hospital, you heal, right? You may come in bruised, abused, right? However, the idea of being in a hospital is to repair, to heal, to come back out better, to come back out new, to come back out refreshed, right? The same thing with prisons. Prisons is to reform you, for you to sit down and think about the inconsistencies of the things that are becoming ailments to you, right? And then you come back out reformed, refreshed, renewed, okay? So please, I want you to take a look at your 12th house. Get your natal chart, look at your 12th house, see what's there. Of course, Pisces, the ruler of the 12th house, Neptune. Pisces, you already know your spiritual and your creativity. Where is that being channeled into? Are you even paying any attention to it at all? Or are you being weighed down in your day-to-day activities, which is your job, your function, your family members, the people that you're depending on? Are you depending on them too much to the point where you're afraid to make new connections? This is what you should be reflecting on when in the 12th house. I do have 12th house products. If you want to take a look at them, I advise you. I just did a 12th house reading for a client of mine. Excellent. It went great. And I'm actually enthused to do 12th house readings. I think there's a whole lot of meat and potatoes there that people refrain from looking at because they're afraid of the 12th house because of how much people talk about how scary it is. When you keep in mind that your hidden treasures are in the 12th house, the bold will go there and do this type of reflection. Okay, so I want you to tell you that. Concentrate on the 12th house, right? So, okay, now I want to get back into your career, Pisces. What's going on in your career? Of course, I'm going to put more emphasis on career and business, probably on most videos, unless I'm doing requested videos, because I'm into business, right? I'm a business scholar, so it only makes sense. So I'm going to give you the meat potatoes pertaining to ambition, career, status, right? Let's go back to this Uranus-Saturn aspect that I was speaking of in a previous video, and let's talk about where it's going, okay? Because I want you to pay attention to the relationships that you're making right now. If they're not working for you, leave them be and seek other relationships, all right? Seek other networks. I'm gonna use the word network here, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because Saturn right now is in your 10th house, which is your house of career, all right? So this means more than anything, health in an aspect, because it's going to deal with financial health. It's going to deal with mental well-being, because you're going to feel accomplished in some type of way that deals with your career. So once again, if you're dealing with a 9 to 5 or a day-to-day activity that's weighing you down on your mental, you need to change that situation. You need to plan before you get out. I'm not saying to just quit your job and leave it with no cushion. Build yourself some cushion, get out of that profession, get into a new one immediately, all right? And because Saturn is in your 10th house of career, there may be some delay, there may be some restriction going on, and if you're going full speed ahead right now, you're not going to be able to catch on to the reservedness that is needed for this placement, this planetary placement of Saturn in your 10th house, all right? This is supposed to be a reserved approach, observation at what's going on with your career and the people that's going to be involved with it if they're not involved with it already. Okay, so if you're going full speed ahead and you're chaotic, your mind is everywhere, and you know our mind is already always everywhere, right? However, if it's not reserved enough to understand where you're going, you need clarity right now with this placement, all right? So gain that, because what's happening is come December, Saturn is shifting into your 11th house, and that's why I said let's use the word network. Let's put relationships aside, whether they're intimate or friendly. Let's put the word even friendships aside right now, okay? Because this planet is shifting into your 11th house, which is all about networks, okay? It's that Aquarius energy, all right? So with that being said, Uranus is also moving retrograde. So here we have a relationship, an aspect rather, that is coming towards each other instead of going apart from each other. And aspects that come towards each other are more powerful than aspects that are leaving each other. Okay, so when Saturn gets into your 11th house, of networks, it will be in Capricorn. So you can bet that this reserved approach that I'm talking about, that you should be grasping onto right now, is going to be amplified even more once Saturn reaches Capricorn. It's going to be, that's where Saturn should be at, okay? That's Saturn's spot right there. So great things are coming. I want you to be excited about this. I don't want you to dwell on being abused or being hurt or being victimized in some type of way. It happens to everybody. It happens to the best of them. I need you to know that the best is coming forward. The best is ahead of you right now. So this is just training for you to understand and discern, okay, that's not good for me, this is good for me. They're not good for me, they are good for me. This is the time for you to understand that and to be more reserved, be more calculated, okay? Because this is the type of energy that Saturn likes. There's going to be some restraints. There's going to be some type of refraining going on. Like I said, though, you got to get ready for it, because you're going to be a master at this, or just going to be projected that you are a master at this once December rolls in. Okay, so let me talk more about Uranus so I don't just flood everything Saturn, Capricorn, right? Uranus, I want you to look at this being in retrograde. It's going to be in retrograde when Saturn enters your 11th house, okay? So remember, and go back to this video, remember I said this, and go back to the Uranus and Saturn video, the networks that you're building right now, you're going to understand once December comes around how strong and how powerful, how impactful they're going to be once December comes around, because Uranus is going to be retrograde to make you reflect on that energy that you was building with these particular people, okay? Now just keep in mind, think about this. What if these networks that you're building right now are toxic, the way that I'm seeing a lot of energy going on right now with Pisces? You're going to tell me that you're going to stay in this knowing that what I'm telling you is coming? Because if you stay in that knowing what's coming, you're going to have toxic networks. So here you're going to be with a toxic network dealing with your career. Now, I don't know what career you're into. You know what I mean? Maybe that's the type of atmosphere that's supposed to be there. I don't know. I'm thinking about your well-being right now, though. Okay, and if you know, like I know, and you want to be in a place where everybody knows your name, you want to have a good, healthy well-being, then you want to network with people who complement and are compatible with what you're doing. So yes, I'm advising, take a look at natal charts. I'm advising you to do these types of things. Now, I want to merge into the flow of rhythm in the zodiac wheel chart. I haven't really mentioned this much. I believe that this will also help you with this video, though. I want you to look at let's go back to, for those of who are struggling with relationships or intimacy, I'm just going to use this as an example so you can understand what I mean about the flow. Pisces, you have to be in your element. Your element is water. So a lot of you are being more involved with or affected by other people's elements. And there's nothing wrong with that when you know how to utilize that element based upon your natal chart placements. If you have a lot of earth, or where you have earth when you deal with earth entities, or where you have fire when you deal with fire entities, you know how to become their element or be mutable. This is your key component of who you are. You know how to do these things when you know where they're placed. Right? However, if you don't have this knowledge, you're going to struggle to interact. So what you need to do is be in your element and realize whether you're a river or if you're an ocean. If you're an ocean, that means you're a deeper Pisces. That means you're unpredictable. That means you will not be moving to the rhythm of what everybody suggests and then be hurt when it doesn't work your way. It's because you're too deep for that surface level stuff that they're projecting to, that they're putting out to you. Okay, you're too deep for that. Now, if you're a river and you're just flowing, you're more up tempo, and you're going with the flow, okay, that's fine too. At the same time, you need to know the flow of the zodiac wheel. So we're going to use the second house, for example, because we're dealing with intimacy. And I want you to see that, that Venus energy that's placed in your second house is merging into the third house. It's going into the third house, baby. So what is your third house? What sign is in your third house? What planetary placements are in your third house? And moreover, what are the aspects that's taking place there in your natal chart? And what are the aspects that are taking place right now? Those are the things that you need to look into when you're dealing with intimacy. Also look at your Venus. Where is your Venus placed in your natal chart? Where is Venus at right now? And where are the Venuses placed with your partner, that the person that you want to give this energy to, that you believe is so special for you? Where's that energy at? If you don't know it, you better find out. All right, I'm out.